Alright, let's compare every version of Half-Life 2, shall we? For this we're gonna look at 3 different versions of Half-Life 2 on PC, plus the console ports emulated at 4K when possible, plus some weird stuff at the end. For scope reasons, this video only covers the game up to Black Mesa East. Otherwise, this video would have been way too long. If you want a part 2 covering more of the game, let me know in the comments. Alright, let's jump straight into it. Let's start at the beginning. The original retail PC release from 2004. This is the earliest available retail build of Half-Life 2, specifically version 2187 from November 2004. First of all, it's honestly impressive how well this runs today. It supports 4K just fine. The only problem is that the UI text and crosshair don't scale with the resolution. So at 4K they look tiny, but everything else looks fine. Let's look at the differences. The flashlight has no dynamic shadows, and it's kind of broken. It only lights some objects properly at very specific angles. Particle effects are different. Fire gets brighter, and blood splats are smaller. These later became known as the classic effects. There's no HDR, and just to be clear, this is the auto exposure effect introduced later, not the modern TV HDR that we have today. Light glare just pops in and out at the edges of the screen instead of fading. Light maps are very low resolution with simple linear filtering. Many materials look weirdly shiny when they really shouldn't.
It's me, Gordon. Barney from Black Mesa. Hey, sorry for the scare, I had to put on a show.
Fence shadows are fully opaque. The auxiliary power UI is bugged. It's always on screen and always red. Chapter titles don't appear at the start of a new chapter.
Funny you showing up on this day in particular.
Windows turn opaque very quickly at a distance. Helicopter windows glow weirdly with a violet color. In one moment in the beginning of the game, when Gordon is stopped and taken to interrogation, a Metro cop holds his pistol differently. NPCs can freeze during the elevator sequences, which will soft-lock the game.
Be coming this way. I don't think it occurred to him that you might not have a map.
Water has some differences. It's a bit more transparent, keeps more color and reflections, and in this section in Road Canal, it has a blue tone. Also, in the same area there's this bug where it flickers depending on where you are. The buoyancy puzzle in the sewers is harder because the objects are less buoyant. There's even a lambda cache early in Water Hazard that just has no supplies. Alex uses an older, lower quality model.
Dr. Freeman, I presume. I better hurry.
Vortigaunts look more like they did in Half-Life 1, and their suit charging effect is simple blue lightning. It's fascinating, but yeah, this version definitely feels a bit unfinished in hindsight. Next up is the Pre-20th Anniversary build, which basically represents Half-Life 2 after the Orange Box updates. This version is still available on Steam as a beta version. Immediately you can notice that a lot got cleaned up. The flashlight now has dynamic shadows, and all the angle bugs are gone. Particle effects are changed. Blood splats are larger and more visible, and fire doesn't get as saturated and bright anymore. HDR is added, though not in every level yet. The auxiliary power UI works correctly now. UI and crosshair now scaled with resolution. Elevator NPC bugs are gone. Transparent textures actually look transparent now instead of binary cutouts. Load times are a little shorter now.
Funny you showing up on this day in particular. Funny you showing up on this day in particular.
The buoyancy puzzle has been adjusted and is not as hard anymore. Detailed textures are now in the game, adding a second layer of detail to many surfaces. The G-Man's eyes now glow green during the intro.
Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job.
Fong shading is introduced, so characters get a nice highlight when lit from the sides. Specularity is changed for a lot of materials, though not always for the better. For example, train seats are now shiny for some reason. Water in Root Canal is not blue anymore. Light maps are higher resolution but still use basic filtering. Light glare now fades in instead of popping. Character updates from the episodes are now pulled in. Alex uses the new episodes model, which is more detailed.
I better hurry.
And Vortiguns get the new texture and green charging effect. Windows still become opaque at the same short distance. Fence shadows are still opaque. The wheels of this APC on the plaza now clip through the ground. The Metro Cop now holds the gun with two hands when Gordon is stopped at the beginning. The airboat spawns slightly ahead of the NPC Fuliant.
I've been hoping you'd show up. Got this airboat all gassed up and ready to go.
The airboat headlight is suddenly much smaller and dimmer, and this has never been fixed. This version feels like Half-Life 2 finally stabilizing. Now, let's move on to the 20th Anniversary version. This is the version everyone plays today. The episodes are now included in Half-Life 2. A lot of subtle polish happens here. Anyway, let's see the differences. The G-Man's glowing green eyes are fixed.
The job.
Music now continues across level transitions. The UI font has been changed. And Big Picture mode uses the Steam Deck style UI. Both particle systems exist, with a toggle for classic effects, though they don't always work correctly. Lighting gets another pass. HDR is now enabled in every level. Specularity is rebalanced again. The train seats are not shiny anymore. Light maps are higher resolution with better bicubic filtering. Grass uses a different shader and looks noticeably greener. Windows stay transparent at much greater distances. The grass draw distance is also massively increased. Fans' shadows are finally fixed. They're not opaque anymore. the APC clipping is fixed again. Black Mesa East's skybox is way more detailed. The airboat spawns in the right spot again.
Been hoping you'd show up.
The seismograph in Dr. Kleiner's lab is bugged and flickers.
Can't take any credit for the breakthrough.
Nonsense. Your talents surpass your love.
Curiously, there are some differences to previous PC versions that are also present on the PS3 and Xbox 360 ports. The Orange Box update, which came around the same time the console versions of the Orange Box released, did not include these. For example, Kleiner's glasses are bugged and have no reflections. New lights were added in some areas. Lighting on the G-Man during the intro is slightly different.
Your hour has come again. So wake up, Mr. Freeman.
The Lambda Cache spray in the area that has no supplies in the retail build has been changed to a different texture. And this TV and root canal is rotated so you can't even see the screen. That being said, this version is clearly the most refined, but it's not flawless, and it's interesting how many tiny things changed over the years. Now let's talk about the original Xbox port, which is wild. The footage in this video is taken from the game emulated on Zemu. On original hardware, the game ran at 480p 30 FPS. But with Zemu, we can run the game at 4K, which makes the comparisons to PC versions easier. This version is based on the retail PC version, but pushed through some extreme optimization. Now let's get to the differences. G-Man's eyes don't glow like in Orange Box versions. The intro sequence with G-Man is a separate level, and there's a level transition after it.
I didn't see you get on.
Texture quality is abysmal.
Dr. Freeman, I presume.
The light maps are low resolution, similar to the retail build. The draw distance is tiny. The Metro Cop doesn't hold the pistol with both hands. Performance is awful, with constant stutter. Light glare pops in instead of fading. There are no detailed textures, obviously. This door is missing in the plaza. Antennas on the buildings outside are also gone. The APC's wheels clip through the floor like the Pre-Anniversary build. These blue force fields don't change with distance like they do in every other version. The new lights present in the Anniversary build and other console ports is here as well. LOD transitions are extremely aggressive. Alex's model is extremely low detail.
Dr. Freeman, I presume.
There are no dynamic lights that turn on and off that are present in other versions.
Here we go.
Forgot something.
Geometry is brutally simplified, sometimes comically so.
No better, I'd suspect Barney.
The seismographic Kleiner's lab doesn't move at all.
No! Careful.
Cheat codes, remember those? They exist in this version of the game. For example, you can use the Konami code to spawn health, or another code to spawn ammo for your current weapon. This is the only version where the water surface doesn't clip through the camera when diving. The Vortigon textures are the wrinkly old ones, and the charging effect is blue lightning. This geometry is simplified. Breakable props spawn less debris. This room has less barrels in it. water uses the simple cube map shader. It's blue in the sewers like the retail PC version, and the buoyancy puzzle area is heavily altered with different geometry and non-transparent water. This area is very different and has a loading zone that's not present in the other versions.
Hey, you're Freeman, aren't you? We got word you were coming. They're showing us!
Hey, Dr. Freeman. I've been hoping you'd show up. Got this airboat all gassed up and ready to go.
This wall texture is different. Many skyboxes are simplified, especially in Water Hazard. One cool thing though, there's a headcrab ambush early in Water Hazard that only seems to work properly in this version, at least in my testing. This Lambda cache is missing the supplies like the PC retail build. This area is quite different. This area is missing a lot of stuff. The fences here were replaced with a wall. This tunnel was added. This whole area has many differences. There's a new loading zone here. There's a loading zone and a longer tunnel after getting the airboat gone. Anyway, it's a miracle this game even runs on the Xbox, and it kinda shows. Now let's take a look at the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions from the orange box. These two are basically identical, so I'll use the PS3 version as the reference. All footage is from the PS3 version emulated on RPCS3. The game runs at 720p 30 FPS on original hardware, but RPCS3 allows us to compare it at 4K 60 FPS. However, the HDR lighting is glitched on the emulator and makes everything look too dark. That's not how it looks on real hardware. I tried correcting it on editing, but basically you can ignore any color or brightness differences. These versions are very similar to the pre-anniversary PC build, with some tweaks. Here are the notable differences. In this version, the item pickups glow, including the HEV suit. The same cheat codes from the Xbox port are still present on both PS3 and Xbox 360. Light maps are higher quality and closer to the anniversary build. Some volumetric lighting is more exaggerated than on PC. Decals actually react properly to flashlight lighting, something that never worked on the PC. Grass is missing in some areas. Curiously, in those same areas, the grass is present on the Xbox port. G-Man's voice and some sound effects are higher pitched on PS3 due to a sample rate conversion issue. This doesn't happen on Xbox 360.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine.
Same new lights as the anniversary build on PC. The TV inside the container with the Vortigon is rotated, same as the anniversary build on PC. The lambda cache texture is changed in the water hazard. The fences don't cast opaque shadows anymore. And the airboat stops after a level transition. Alright, now it's time for the weird one. Half-Life 2 Survivor is a Japan-exclusive arcade version developed by Taito, and it's barely the same game. The arcade machine it originally ran on was essentially a Linux PC. Anyway, let's see the differences. This version has 3 different modes: Story, Battle, and Mission. Battle mode is a team-based competitive multiplayer mode with various classes to play as. Kinda similar to Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, but not really. Mission mode is made up of short arcade levels not present in the original. Story mode is a much shorter version of the original Half-Life 2 story with many differences gameplay and presentation-wise. Let's look at some of them. The HUD and UI are completely different. Chapters have arcade-style title screens. Pre-rendered cutscenes on the beginning of the chapter tell a summary of the story events. To add to this, most story-heavy chapters are skipped entirely, like point insertion and red letter day, for example. The first chapter in this version is Root Canal. The intro sequence with G-Man is pre-rendered and has a few different parts.
Gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
The first level is a tutorial sequence with many videos that interrupt gameplay, although thankfully they are skippable. You get some weapons earlier in this version. For example, you get the SMG in this area. Water hazard begins with the gun already mounted on the airboat. Sometimes there are cutscenes to show things happening that would be in regular gameplay in the original, and Gordon appears in third person in some of them. You're actually supposed to fight the APC in this area, while in the original you can't. The airboat is also much slower than in the original. The ramp buoyancy puzzle in Water Hazard is skipped entirely. This area is missing the rooms with supplies in it. Also, the refill cases were replaced with regular supply crates. There's a new mounted gun added to this area. The large machines are missing from this room. After you break these doors down, you don't have to go all the way back to the airboat. It skips to the next level. There are new enemies and structures in this area. Then it skips ahead again to the dam level. And again, there are many differences in level design here. After this, Water Hazard ends, and the next chapter is Ravenholm, skipping the helicopter boss fight and Black Mesa East entirely. Anyway, this version is both bizarre and fascinating. And finally, the future. Half-Life 2 RTX demo. This is a path traced RTX Remix demo, currently covering parts of Ravenholm and Nova Prospect. Everything is being rebuilt with high-fidelity assets, physically based materials, and fully path-traced lighting. The coolest part is that it actually sticks very closely to the original art direction. It's not trying to reinvent Half-Life 2. Still, it's just a demo, but it looks very promising. So yeah, Half-Life 2 has had a long life. The current Steam version is clearly the best way to play it, but it's interesting to see how the game evolved, what Valve fixed, and what had to be sacrificed on consoles. I was surprised to find that some of the things introduced in the 20th Anniversary update were present in the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. If you want me to do a second video covering more sections of the game, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to get in touch with me, join the Discord or follow me on X. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.